So what if you want Canvas to function a little more like School Loop? Just as a gradebook, navigate through sections quickly and just post assignments, because it allows you to create modules which are more like units in Google Classroom. But if you just want to go strictly just assignments and points and that's it, this will kind of walk you through that. First, you have to have a published course. Once you're in the published course, you can just go directly to assignments if you want. And then you can click on add an assignment. And we're just going to call this practice number 1. You can give instructions here if you want, for whatever the assignment is. How many points do you want it to be? We're just going to say 10. I have weighted grades, and so it can go into one of 4 categories. I'll link a card up here if you're interested in how to weight your grades into different categories. How do I want it displayed? Well, I want it displayed as points. What type of submission would I like? If it's just a paper, you're going to hand them a paper, you will grade it by hand later, and then enter it in manually. This is the way to go. And there'll be other videos explaining these. This is not a group assignment, doesn't require peer review. I do want this to link up to Infinite Campus. This has been hit or miss. And then who do I want to assign it to? You could assign it to just certain periods, but I'm going to assign it to all my periods at once. You can set a due date for it, and then it's available starting this day. We'll close this day, and you can also put the time. So this is especially true for online assignments where you can tell them they need to submit by this time. If they don't have a submission by a certain time, it will no longer allow them to submit. You will have to manually open it again. You could set different rules. So this is for everybody. But if you happen to have a 504 student or IEP student who needs extra time, maybe an extra week, 3 days, you can set that here if you want. Once you're done, you just click Save and Publish. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to click Save and Publish. It's asking for a due date, of course. So we'll just call it September 30th. All right, and what students would see is they would see something like this. Again, your instructions, due date, how many points, and they're submitting it on paper. Okay. Now, how would this look gradebook-wise? So gradebook-wise, you come over to Grades, and then it is just inserted right here. Now, if you want to set this to look like School Loop did, in terms of having the latest assignment on your far left, you can go over to View, Arrange By, and then you're going to go Due Date, Newest to Oldest. And so it'll always have the newest assignment on the far left side. You could also add things like notes. So if you have a 504 student, you can type that in, or an IP student. It's always kind of nice to see on the side if they need extra time, you can add that in here, or if there's test accommodations that they need, you can add that. And then over here, again, I'll click a card somewhere up here that shows you how to go through different sections. The default view is to show you all your students from that. So this is showing every single marine bio student that I have. But this will allow me to go just to first period and now grade just first period students. And then when I'm done there, I can switch to second, so on and so on. One of the other features like School Loop is the autofill feature. So let's say that I want to give this person a 0 because they weren't here. This person gets a 0. Maybe you're doing 50%, so maybe a 5 out of 10, 5 out of 10. And maybe everybody else in this period submitted and got a 10 out of 10 because you graded it by hand. So you can click these 3 buttons and set default grade and tell it basically every blank spot, I want you to make it 10 out of 10. And so it'll come in and autofill that for you, and it'll tell you how many students. So for 27 students, they're getting a 10 out of 10. And the other ones stay as is, like that. That's similar to the autofill feature in School Loop. So that's kind of how I add an assignment and how I make Canvas look a little bit more like the old School Loop. Before I forget, what happens if you want to delete an old assignment like in School Loop? You made a mistake and you just want to delete the whole thing and start from scratch. So click on the assignment, practice 1. We're going to go over to Edit, and then 3 buttons, and then you're going to delete the assignment. Now just understand it's also going to delete the scores that you put in. So I'm going to click OK. And then now if I come back to grades, we will no longer see that.